Welcome back to another episode. We appreciate you coming back as always. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Want to thank Adam Chubbuck with Douglas Realty in Pasadena, Maryland. His website is tacmd.com. That's tacmd.com. The real estate market's heating up. Not much supply again. Interest rates are holding steady around that 6 mark, maybe even in the high 5s, depending on who you got. You want to deal with a professional real estate agent, go to tacmd.com. Let Adam know that you're interested in talking to him. And the best thing about it is, even if it's not the right time for you to make a move, he will let you know that. He's going to treat your money as if it's his money, and he's not going to put you in a bad situation. So go to tacmd.com. That's tacmd.com. And his name actually come up later on in this episode. But first things first, Mike is not here. Mike's got a new post, so he's getting his schedule's all out of whack right now. Plus, the 3 boys are playing sports, so I don't think he's ever home for more than like an hour other than to sleep. So I think for the next month or so, his schedule's going to be all jacked up. So he'll be back at some point whenever he can get back on. I don't know if you'll remember this person. Not his first time here. Mostly on the alcohol episodes. I don't know what people are going to read into that. But Jared is back. I think we had you on for an old Orioles episode, but we also had you on for the beer episode and the whiskey episode.
Yep, we did the whiskey.
So it's been a while since we've done people coming on. But one of the things I try to tell people was, and we did this on the New Year's episode, and one of the things we were trying to do was trying to bring in more people to be on the show. So it's not just Mike and me going back and forth, because people have heard that for 5 years. So we wanted to bring more voices on. So you are the first one.
Okay.
And it's almost May, so we really made good progress. We really moved quick on that one.
Yeah, we're turning the Titanic here.
Have a couple things to talk about. So I don't know where we're going to start. Both Orioles fans, both Ravens fans. NFL just had the draft this past weekend. This is going to go out on April 28th, so it will literally have happened this weekend. I don't know if we want to start there. I'm not happy at the picks that were made. I don't think the right. Now, don't get me wrong. Who am I to say if the picks were right or not? Other than that, I'm a fan, and like every other fan, I think it can run the team better. Although on our favorite radio station, our favorite contrarian is no longer there. The one and only Jason LaConfora off the air at 105.7 The Fan, and I'm pretty sure everybody is happy about that.
I don't think you'd find argument out there in the crowd.
He is Captain Negativity. And the worst part about that dude was, well, there were a lot of bad things about that dude, but he would say one thing. Or I'm sorry, he would say like a lot of things. One would come true, and he'd be like, see, I told you, I'm always right. Meanwhile, he's been wrong 9 out of 10 times. He's just that arrogant prick. And then he also turned a lot of people off with this whole COVID bullshit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of on-air personalities who are still seen by the way they acted or reacted to COVID. And he was he was vehemently in one team. And he just alienated so many people. So he's gone. See you later. But let's start. I guess we can start with the Ravens draft, because this is probably going to be the shortest part of this episode, because it just happened. So let me just go real quick. I'm just going to say who the Ravens selected. We can talk about other selections too. So first round was the offensive guard from Penn State. I don't think anyone is upset with that pick.
No.
Because we needed offensive line help. We needed offensive guard help. Needed that. So I don't think anyone's upset with that pick.
You put a guy, who's got the name Vega. We all remember back to Street Fighter 2, fan favorite right there. And big body to block. Is going to give the running lanes, going to give Lamar more time, give Henry the space. Get back to that ground and pound football that Baltimore's always loved.
Well, the strange thing, we don't know what the offense is going to be. New offense, Monken's gone. Declan Doyle, nobody really. I mean, he's coming from Chicago, coming from the Ben Johnson tree. For all we know, we might not be playing that smash mouth football anymore. However, we probably have the best running back in the league. Mm-hmm. Still, even though he's over 30. I mean, this dude, his inner body is probably closer to a 26-year-old. That's how well. I mean, if he doesn't work out 3 times in a day, that's an off day for him. If he only got 2 workouts in, off day for Derrick Henry. But this kid is such a huge improvement over Falele. Like, I actually thought that Falele made Rosengarten and Linderbaum look bad a lot of times. You're talking missed assignments, blocking air. So, like, I remember one play, I saw him, he actually, like, pushed his guy into Rosengarten, which then had Rosengarten disengage from his guy, who then ran around and got Lamar. Mm-hmm. Well, if Falele doesn't just push his dude into Rosengarten doesn't lose the handle on his guy, and the sack doesn't happen, unless, Falele just lets a guy run past him, which isn't unheard of, because that shit happened a lot. But even in the run game, when Falele got to the second level, he was blocking nobody. He couldn't find anybody. Yeah. Unless it's right in front of his face, and even then it's a little sketchy. He was that bad. He's the reason I actually started watching like game film of the Ravens. Just before I tweeted or did anything, I wanted to make sure I wasn't the fool. He was that bad. So I think he probably made the other 3, being Rosengarten, Linderbaum, and maybe even Voorhees, look worse than they were. So just by... Now, apparently this kid's a left guard. So I think they're going to put him in at left guard. I think Voorhees is either got to bounce to the right, or they're going to play John Simpson. Or, what's it, Quinn Emery? I forget which first last name, forgot which one. The problem with Simpson's a decent guard. The problem with Simpson is he's always in the top 3 of most penalized offensive linemen. He has been for the last 3 years. The year he left the Ravens and went to the Jets, he was the most penalized offensive lineman. So, is he good, or is he just good at holding people? Who knows? But I think anything is going to be an upgrade over having Falele on the field. They got to address the center. Linderbaum left. People are pissed off about that, but it's like they paid that dude $5 million over the next highest paid center. They were never going to match that.
No.
So, I think that pick was good.
Yep.
My problem is, round 2, pick number 45, they pick Zion Young, a defensive end out of Missouri. How many defensive ends, pass rushers, have we drafted and then not been able to develop? I mean, you got Adafe Owe, the other Penn State kid, Trenton Simpson, and the kid last year, who was supposed to be amazing. Well, the 2 Penn State kids were both coming off major injuries. Like, oh, well, this will be just like having a first-round pick for next year. They're going to be that good. And they both stunk. Although Owe went to... David Ajabo is the other guy.
Yeah.
Owe went to L.A. with the new head coach, Nate Bargatze, who... Jesse Minter. If you ever look at Nate Bargatze pictures and Jesse Minter pictures, they look exactly the same. And then you hear them talk, and they both talk exactly. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy. Bowe went out to L.A. with Minter's defense, and I think he had 9 sacks. So maybe Minter can do something with some of these guys. But I was like, come on, man. You swung and missed on this how many years in a row? Let it go. In fact, we probably could have used a second offensive lineman in round 2. What do you think?
Well, I think getting the defense shored up is always, critical here. As you said, they've had so many swings and misses. You got to eventually find the diamond in the rough. Baltimore's always been known, smash mouth, both sides of the ball, bring the defense, bring the hurt. For all the NFL games I go to, whether it's here in Baltimore or on travel, I think Baltimore gets more rowdy and excited to see the defense than most teams do on their offense.
Yep.
You go to a subpar, under 500 performing team, the fans don't really care. Over here, we see the defense get introduced, and it's almost more electric than having the offense come out, every other home game for the introduction. So I love that they're going after it, shoring up the offensive line on round one, trying to address round two to get more pressure. We look at the other quarterbacks in the division. We got to have somebody coming in, doing pressure, doing what we can to stop there. Cleveland, for whatever they're doing, they got a lot of picks this year. If they hit on a few of them.
They're Cleveland, dude. It's the Browns.
Yeah.
Every pick they picked is fucked up. You know that. Just
They'll
because
be
of the
good
Browns.
on the next team, but
right.
In 4 years they're going to be an all-pro somewhere else. But
I've never seen a team draft so bad and then also do free agency horribly and then also do trades horribly. Like, they do all three very badly.
I mean, I think the Jets fans would like to have a word with you there, but
I don't know, man. The Browns, think about it. The only real good draft picks they've had, Myles Garrett and Baker Mayfield, but who doesn't play for them.
right.
Who else? Maybe an offensive lineman like Joel Bitonio. They had a couple running backs, but Nick Chubb is gone. Again, they all move on. Nobody wants to stay there.
No.
So it's just like, oh my God, the Browns did great. Yeah, the Browns are going to Brown. They're going to screw that up. And even their quarterback room is ridiculously jacked up. And they drafted another quarterback, by the way. The Browns couldn't brown up any more of this. I don't know why Myles Garrett signed that contract last year.
Money.
Yeah, but he would have gotten that wherever he went. He's the best D lineman in all of football.
Yeah.
Someone was going to pay him that. Like, why would you choose to say? I'm convinced that, like, his wife or something said, "We're not moving. Kids are in school. We're staying here. Sign your contract," or something like that. There's no way he wanted to stay there.
No.
Especially with, like, the Shador Sanders show. It's like, I don't know, man. But all right, so the next three picks are all offense. And this is where I kind of get pissed off. 2 wide receivers in a row. Yet your wide receiver room is Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Tez Walker, who I think is actually fairly good. And you could have re-signed DeAndre Hopkins for probably the vet minimum. He wants to come back. There's 4 right there. Your last 2 are special teams guys. Like, why are we bringing in the, like, we're win now. We're not win later.
Right.
So what are we doing drafting 2 more? You already got, I get it. Like, Zay might leave next year. They picked up his 5th-year option, so he's going to play this next year. And then he's probably going to command top 5 money, and the Ravens probably aren't going to pay him.
Yeah.
They can't with Lamar's contract. Now they're going to reorg Lamar's contract. I think this is the last year of Roquan's contract. So they'll have some room somewhere, but they got Hamilton they're going to pay, or they already did, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he signed.
The move I didn't understand was re-signing Mark Andrews when you had Likely on your roster. Like, that made 0 sense to me. Likely has shown that he is, I would say, the more dynamic player of the 2. Now, might not be able to block as well, but you could have had Likely and Kolar for the price of Andrews. So I was really shocked at that. But then pick number 133, they picked up the tight end from SMU. So that's 3 picks in a row for offense.
Yeah. Well, Likely did go to the Giants, so.
Yeah, but if they would have picked up his 5th year, they did not have a 5th year because he wasn't a first rounder.
Yeah.
I think if they would have made him some kind of decent offer, I think the Ravens would have signed him.
Yeah, and I think he was loyal to Harbaugh.
Maybe.
So, he followed him to New York. Got to fill the tight end. The wide receivers are questionable. I understand getting 1. You always want to give somebody in there. We're not looking at a very good quarterback draft at all this year, so they weren't trying to put somebody to, fill the backup void there. So find a receiver, punt return possibility, special teams, and Baltimore likes to do some gadget stuff where they have random guys come in. Maybe it's a running back or reverse, some kind of option.
But we don't know if that's going to be the case this year, though. It's a completely new offense,
right,
and defense for that matter. So I don't know if we can really say what it's going to be. So I don't know. The next pick was cornerback, the kid out of Duke. I don't know about drafting kids from Duke. I mean, is that a football school? Like, what are we doing? Yeah. Wouldn't you have been better off drafting the 5th cornerback from Alabama?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me. But it's not Nick Saban's Alabama, so maybe I'm wrong. Speaking of Alabama, pick 173, tight end out of Alabama.
Yep.
So they picked 2 tight ends, very similar to when they did Kolar and Likely. At this point, I've got to. So even though on the field it's going to be different, I've got to trust that Ozzie Newsome and Eric DeCosta know what they're doing when they're drafting tight ends because they've hit on a lot of them. Mm-hmm. I mean, Kolar did a great job. Likely did a great job. Andrews did a great job. Some of these other guys, these other backups they draft, they were good too, and not good enough to go get a contract elsewhere, right? So I've got to imagine they know what they're doing with that. 174 right up to the tight end, running back out of Clemson. Do we need a running back? I thought we had.
No.
Didn't we have like Rashawn Ali and Hill is back?
Yeah.
So what is this guy? Like
special team fodder.
But when you need offensive line, like you have a need. What? I don't know. I feel like you could have picked up your special teams guy as an undrafted free agent. That's just me. Pick 211 punter. We needed one because Stout went to New York.
Yep.
250, and this is another one. So 250 was the D tackle out of Michigan, Rayshawn Benny. This is another area where DeCosta and Ozzie seemed to pick up gems late in the draft.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time they selected a D tackle before the 3rd round. And somehow they ended up with Broderick Washington. They ended up with Travis Jones. They ended up with, Matabike wasn't a 1st-round pick. And I don't think he's going to play. I think that's all fodder right now. I think he's saying he can play because he wants to collect that $30 million guaranteed. And I don't blame him.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to be. That's a neck injury. I don't know.
You're leveraging your whole future, the whole next 50, 60 years of your life on one missed block, one assignment going the wrong way, and your neck going the opposite way, and then, you're paralyzed or potentially worse. And, money talks, but whew.
I think as long as he's trying to attempt a comeback, he gets that $30 million. Unless the Ravens cut him or whatever. I don't know how that works, but I think the dead cap number is huge. Last pick for the Ravens was 253, and this is where they went back. They got an offensive guard out of Northwestern. Again, apparently we like smart kids. Between the Duke kid and the Northwestern kid, shoot, even the Michigan kid. And we're trying to pick up brain surgeons, apparently. Whether pick 253 is going to be any kind of a factor, I don't know. Probably not. Doesn't sound good, but who knows?
Yeah. And they're cheap. They come on with a couple years. The odds of them making it 2 or 3 years on their contract are very low. You're hoping to get somebody that can cling on to the special teams or the practice squad, learn the system, maybe be a contributor in 2 years. Year one, the Ravens have found some guys in round 5, 6, and 7, but historically you don't look for round 6 and 7 to make an impact this year. That's just filling out your practice squad, and if they need to step up, there's an injury, you hopefully have somebody smart enough to know the playbook and be able to step in and fill the void. But I don't tend to pay too much attention to 6 and 7 round picks.
No, generally with Ozzie and Eric, you pay closer attention to their undrafted free agents, just because they tend to find gems in that group. The other interesting thing I'll say is this. So I was very surprised that they did pick Vega when Ruben Bain and Kenyon Sadiq were both available. And they went the 2 picks right after him. Knowing just seeing they seem to generally go after the splash in the first round, not the safe pick. I guess Linderbaum was drafted in the same draft class as Lamar, right? Because they were both the first round picks, I think.
Yeah, it sounds right.
And that was the last first round draft pick we used on an offensive lineman. The other one was Ronnie Stanley, and that was a few years earlier. So I found it interesting that they went with the safer pick, but I also think that was the right pick. You've got a generational talent at quarterback. In order to have him do what he could do, you have to give him more than 2 seconds to throw and or decide to run. It was like snap, someone's in your face. Like immediately. That's how bad it was last year. I don't think people realize that. The other question I've got is, I think Ronnie Stanley is a huge wild card. He's had one completely healthy season, and it was last season.
Yeah.
Every other season, it's either been cut short, something happened, who knows. And the one thing I'll give Rosengarten, and the reason why I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, is because when he was in college in Washington, he was protecting the blind side on the right side of a left-handed quarterback named Michael Penix, right? So they trusted him as much as they would have trusted a left tackle to protect their quarterback's blind side. I still think there's a lot of upside for Rosengarten. I just think because of Falele, he got just all... I think he was trying to cover for him, and I think he was also trying to keep his assignments while he was over there fucking up as best he could. And I not that I think that's why Linderbaum went, because I think the $5 extra million a year probably was the real reason. But I think he did not want to play another season with Falele next to him. Yeah. That's how much of a fuck up that dude was. I'm sure he's a super nice dude. Like, I'm not trying to say anything about the character of these kids, but goddamn, he was inept on a football field.
Yeah. Well, I think there's another, in-division story that we kind of saw play out with the Steelers wanting to pick Lemon as the wide receiver. They're at 21, and Philly traded up with Dallas to snake him. The rumor mill's saying, hey, Lemon was on the phone with Pittsburgh. They were talking about, hey, we're going to draft you. You're going to come here. Then all of a sudden Philly called him and said, hey, we're trading up. The interesting thing I heard was, McCarthy is the coach in Pittsburgh, coming from Dallas, and someone from Dallas maybe got word from one of McCarthy's guys in Pitt what they were doing, because they were right next to each other. Like, are you taking our guy? No, we're gonna go this way. You're going receiver. Dallas was trying to trade out, get some more draft capital. Turned around to an in-division rival and said, do you want to trade up, because you're coming up on your pick, they're going to take your guy, give us some more people, and you can have our pick and snake him. So kind of funny game of cat and mouse there, and whether or not the rumors are true, but kind of like the fact that we don't have to see him twice a year now.
But at the same time, I actually think Pittsburgh ended up with the better pick for them, because they got that offensive tackle from Arizona State.
Yeah.
And they need offense. They needed offensive line help just as much as we did. Mm-hmm. So I actually think, if that's what happened and they were really going to go after Lemon, I think they were probably handed a gift that kind of had them then steered toward the offensive tackle. I like that pick for them. That kid is an athletic kid.
Yeah.
And in this league, especially in this division, think of it this way: if he's going to play left tackle, Myles Garrett is you see him twice a year.
Yeah.
And now you got to see, and you were gonna see Trey Hendrickson twice a year. Now you're just gonna see him with a different team. And imagine if the Ravens would have gotten Max Crosby too, because the rumor was they were supposed to get both of them.
Yeah.
But you got to have an offensive line in this league, especially with them, because if Rodgers comes back, he's immobile for the most part. He's mobile for an old man, but he's not mobile.
No.
And so you got to create a pocket for the guy. So I actually like that pick for them. And I don't normally say a lot of nice things about Pittsburgh. The rest of it, I feel like all these pundits, man, like they're saying how good the Raiders did. Oh, the Raiders did great. Well, they had the first pick of the draft. It's hard to do shitty in a draft when you got the first pick. I also know that the Raiders also had the first pick when they picked Jamarcus Russell. That worked out well.
Yeah.
And he was a can't-miss prospect. I'm trying to think of who else. They say Dallas did well. Dallas is... This is one of those things, just like the Browns. The Browns are going to Brown, the Cowboys are going to Cowboy. They are not the Cowboys from the 90s.
No.
They always seem to underachieve. I don't know what it is. But other than that, I mean, I'm just trying to see who else the Raiders got. They got a cornerback. I don't know. I'm not really seeing a whole bunch to like there. Their offensive line was shit too. So, I don't know. Any teams that kind of caught your eye when you were watching it?
You know, it was more interesting just seeing, the hoopla of what the drafts turn into. Mm-hmm. You have these multi-day events now where hundreds of fans used to show up, and now it's 300,000, standing outside. And we're watching on TV, and it's, the 8-minute clock's kind of nice in the first rounds, but they drag it out with the commercials, and by the time, the pick is in and they get around to announcing it, the next pick's already in. And they've got to go through the fanfare, and I saw draft picks getting, their picture taken, shaking the commissioner's hand, instantly going to sign a playing card, of their draft day. And, they have them on the mirror trying on their hat. And it's just such a, red carpet kind of event where, obviously they're selling TV rights, they're selling commercials and ad space and anything they can to just make more money. But I go back 15 years ago, and it was, Saturday afternoon in a bar, and you sat down for 6 hours, and that was it. It was as fast as you could keep up with it, what was going on. And now I can't even imagine wanting to go to a draft if they had it in Baltimore. Like, I think I'd want to be further away from that than I am based on our locality to them.
I agree. And 3 days is too many days. At least, okay, from a fan's viewpoint who isn't there, 3 days is too many days. I think, I understand TV rights. I get it. Third day gets you more money, and people are going to watch it. Especially, it's a Saturday afternoon. Not too much else is on. But I think there's probably a sweet spot, which is probably 2 days. Make the first day round 1 and 2. Give us more than a round, and then day 2 can be rounds 3 through 6 or 7, however many rounds there are now. I want the clock shortened though. There's too much, and I know they're doing it because they want to show highlights of the kid after he's picked. They want to sell advertising. They want to be, and I think an ad on TV, it's usually 30 seconds. You want to sell 4 of them. So that's 2 minutes right there. And then you got another, what was it, that 5? No, another 6 minutes of talking about shit. Plus you got to do the pick and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. So, in my opinion, it's just too much. And then the other thing that I didn't notice, if you watch the commercials, one of the commercials was for the schedule release. It is now going to be on TV.
Of course.
I guess it's been on TV for a while. For like 1 or 2 years, maybe a little bit more. But now they're advertising it. So now it's more of a TV grab. Someone sent me something. I want to see if I can find it. And Steve Bisciotti brought this up. And it was in reference to the league essentially alienating customers at this point. And it had to do with the number of streaming services that you have to have in order to watch every game. Because Sunday Ticket isn't enough anymore. No. I don't think.
You need Netflix and Apple and Amazon and basic cable. And
well, you need Paramount Plus.
Paramount, yeah.
That count. I wish I had this list. Let me see if I can. Someone sent it to me the other day. Here it is. You have to have Netflix, Prime Video for the Thursday nights, NFL Networks for their from when they do Thursdays on their own. Peacock and NBC, Fox, CBS for the regular games, ESPN Plus, Paramount Plus, YouTube TV, and Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. Now, Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV promotes it as like, oh, it's only $250 if you do it early, $350 if you miss the early bird. But what they don't tell you is you also got to pay $80 a month for YouTube TV. Mm-hmm. So that's another. If it's a 4 months, that's another $320. $320 plus $350. Shit, you're talking $700 and change, six and change, and that doesn't even get you all the games. Your team can still get blacked out. I mean, it's like, this is nuts.
It's absurd to think about. I mean, again, you go back and it's like you could only watch your local broadcast, and that was enough 20, 30 years ago. And fantasy football kind of blew it up, and then Red Zone became the best thing for fantasy because all of a sudden you're watching all the action, every highlight play, every potential score. But even they started selling ad space in that, and I get it. It's 15 seconds a couple times, and it creeped up over the year, but it wasn't impactful to the viewing experience. But then when you start thinking, okay, well, I've got to spend $700-800 just to watch 70% of the games, and then you got to have all the other subscriptions. And even if it's a game you don't want to watch, you want to watch it because it's cold, it's dark. What are you going to do better on a Sunday afternoon, Sunday night? They're getting into Monday night, Thursday night, Saturdays when college football's off. So it's almost 7 days a week that you're watching football these days.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that they didn't clamp down on this. Well, I shouldn't. The money is just too good, right? And imagine, so people are like, well, just watch it on if your team's in the AFC, watch CBS. It'll be local to you. Okay, what if you got a split household? You got some Bears fans married to some Detroit fans, or maybe or Bears fans married to a Kansas City Chiefs fan. So you got NFC, AFC, different channels. If you're out of network or out of area, or if you're in area, you got to hope it doesn't get blacked out. Like if you're a Jacksonville fan, those games get blacked out, or at least they used to quite often. Mm-hmm. Part of it is just, I don't want to have to figure out where the game is and which streaming service I need that night. It's too much.
Yeah.
It's like, shit, man. And Bishotti was like, oh, well, we should just put them all on the NFL Network. Okay. Where's the money going to come from at that point? You own the network. You could sell all the advertising. That's where it would come from. But I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but this is way too much.
Well, if you look at the other sports, Orioles have Masson, and they sell the streaming option for that. You can pay $100 for the year and watch 162 games.
Can you though, or does some get blacked out?
No, that's everything.
On MLB.TV, I think is what it is, or it used to be called Extra Innings.
Yeah, I mean they do have the games that they pull off Masson, so there may be a few that are blocked out, but
well, the ones that are on Apple TV get blocked out.
Yeah, and then the Capitals have their whole streaming service with Monumental, and Ted Leonis is putting that together, trying to get the Wizards, the Mystics, the Capitals, anything in DC sports. I wouldn't be surprised if the Nats are fully on it and the Commanders get that route as well, and it's just a single local channel that has a streaming option, and they can figure out that, and then you can pay for teams that are not yours, or if you could buy the split household, we each buy our own access to that one stream, and it's a couple $100 per team per year. Over the course of the year, you're still spending a lot for all the different sports, but it definitely would limit it.
I don't think football will allow its teams to go on their own network.
No.
So I don't think the Commanders going on Monumental is going to happen. I don't think the NFL will let that happen. They sell all their teams as a package. And that's one thing people are really frustrated with about baseball, though. It's like, okay, well, what if I'm out of area and I can't get Masson, right? Let's say I'm in Boston. All I can get is Nesson. I can't get Masson, so I can't see my Orioles play. But then you got to get the MLB.TV package. But again, though, it's like figuring out where I got to go to find my team. Mm-hmm. Like, it's almost like they're making it harder to be a fan in almost every single sport. I mean, at least with Leonce's, with Monumental, he's got the Wizards, who no one really wants to watch anyway, the Mystics, who nobody watches, and the Capitals, who a lot of people want to watch. So, like, but he owns those three teams. He's not going to get the Nationals, I don't think. If anything, they're going to create their own thing. Because I think they're out of Masson now, aren't they?
They are.
So I think, if anything, they go to Monumental for like a year or two before they can build their own. There's just too much money in it for them to not do it. In fact, that's how like a lot of that's how the Yankees really pulled away. And then the Dodgers did it with LA Sportsnet. And so they've all kind of gone off on their own. But then somehow the league still sells streaming or television rights. Because they got their ESPN. Actually, do they have ESPN anymore? They used to have like the game of the week, but I don't think they have. I think someone else has it. Like TNT maybe, or Turner.
I can't remember Apple has a game.
That drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Because Apple is not cheap.
No.
I mean, well, none of them are. But Apple's such a niche service, I think, that I just don't. I think people are just like, fuck, screw it. I'm not getting it. They just missed the game, right? Mm-hmm. But it's like, the purpose shouldn't be let me frustrate my fans. And like, someone had brought up how like, I guess the Orioles, their average attendance last year, I think was like 22,000. It wasn't very high for a 40,000 seat stadium, or I think it's 46,000 or something like that. Meanwhile, the Savannah Bananas come in for 2 nights and sell your stadium out both nights. Now, you and I both like the Savannah Bananas experience. Mm-hmm. Been to multiple games. And it's not necessarily for the baseball, right? It's for the entertainment factor. One, it's great for kids. Kids love it. But there's other things that they do. Like during the game, the owner and the entertainment people interact with the fans. It's pretty cool. I mean, because everyone's like, oh, we got to change the rules of baseball. I'm saying, I think you could make that model work within the game of baseball. But you got to have people that are willing to go out in the audience. You got to have, like, even like the mascots barely go in the audience. Like the Philly Fanatic used to walk around the Philadelphia Stadium and interact with fans. It's rare that happens now. The other thing is like concession stands. Man, you can't gouge people. Like, to go to an Orioles game, I want to say the cheapest ticket, and this is nosebleeds, is $13, $13.50. But then when you go get a hot dog, it's like $5 for a hot dog.
There's 2 spots in the stadium that do that. They have, I think, 2 or 3 different concession options, which have the value option, where it's a smaller hot dog, it's a smaller pour of beer for a cheaper price, and a couple other things that you can just grab and say, okay, we're on a budget at the game, we're not trying to spend the full amount. But I've sat in club level there, and a slice of pizza is like $19. You go anywhere and you buy a beer or seltzer, and sure, they're selling you the big boy can, the 20 ounce, 22, whatever it is, and that's $17, $18, and you're there for 2.5 hours. You're gonna have 2, 3. If it's really hot, you might have 4, and all of a sudden you've dropped another $80, $90 just on a few drinks.
Just on 4 drinks.
Yeah,
4. It's wild to me.
And that's for one person, and you bought tickets that are not $18. They're $40, $50. You take family of 4, or you have a guy's day or a girl's day, and there's 3 or 4 of you. You spent $50 on the ticket, plus parking, plus $50, call it, on the alcohol, and you get something to eat, and that's another $30. You spent $300-$400 just to go to a baseball game.
I mean, I would say bare minimum. Let's say you bought the cheapest tickets, the $13.50 tickets. That's $52, $53 just for the 4 tickets. Mm-hmm. Parking is minimum $20 down there, because you don't want to downtown Baltimore. You do not want to park far away from the stadium.
No.
So the parking close to the stadium is $20 minimum. It might even be more now. So now we're already at $73. $73, you bought nothing. Just sitting there watching the game. Like, well, what's wrong with that? Because you got kids. Game started at 7:03 or 6:35 or whatever. Kids want to eat some food because you left your house at 5:30, 6 o'clock so you could get to the game. You didn't eat food before then, so you go and you eat food. $5 or $6 for a hot dog is nuts to me. It's like you are sacrificing your next generation of fans because the parents, it's too expensive for them to take a kid to the game. A regular size hot dog should be $2 to $3. A kid's soda, 12 ounces, should be $2 to $3. And I'm not saying lose money on it. That can of soda probably cost them $1. Or better yet, if it's out of a fountain, it costs them 50 cents. The hot dog. I mean, shit. We can go to the grocery store and buy an 8-pack of hot dogs for $5. Mm-hmm. So let's just say let's round up and say it costs them 50 cents a hot dog. You're charging $6.50 or $7 for a hot dog. I mean, the bun ain't that expensive, you know? And then for popcorn for fuck's sake, $8 for popcorn? It's like you're pushing and they wonder why, like right now, why there's only 20,000 fans at a game. And that's probably being generous. Well, over the last decade of them doing this, you've eroded your fan base. So I don't get it, man.
Well, I mean, you talk about that, and just on the price war, I mean, look at the jerseys and the hats and everything. You know, Baltimore just rolled out the new City Connects, and, you know, okay, it's been a few years. We just got a new variety on that. They're selling, you know, the hats are $40. You want the jersey, I mean, you're spending...
Let me guess. Hold on. Because I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. $285.
You know, $285 will get you the more authentic piece of cotton to wear, but $180 is the replica.
Okay. That's still a lot of money for a replica.
I mean, for, you know, what's a T-shirt or a jersey? What's the material on that going for? But yeah, I mean, you get to the authentic ones, they're $250, $300 or more, and the old style City Connects that they're not even wearing are still selling for $100. And you know, the new ones, they're like white, so that's one hot dog mustard stain away from being ruined, and it's a $200 shirt. And how often are you walking around wearing a $200 shirt anyway?
Well, not that I'm advocating for gray markets, but then they get pissed off when people buy these things. Like, they buy jerseys that are, from what I can tell, the same thing for $40.
Yeah,
from some company in China.
Yeah, the factory makes the MLB version from 6 a.m. to midnight, and then from midnight to 6 a.m. It's the same machines, just giving it to someone else to ship over here, and all of a sudden the price is $30.
Yep. Because they're making it for like 12. You know?
With shipping.
Yeah. And then they cry poverty. I'm just like, you guys can miss me with this shit. Like, I understand, like, it's cool for kids to go to a major league stadium. But I really think in the last 10 to 15 years, I think these major league stadiums, and I would almost say the NFL too, but the NFL sells out. But you've got a major league baseball team in one of the best parks in all of America. Camden Yards is still one of the best ballparks in all of America. Don't get me wrong, I went to the Pittsburgh one last year. Phenomenal. But Camden Yards with the warehouse and everything, it's still one of the best parks in all of baseball. And they wonder why it's only half full. At best. They was like, well, the team isn't winning. That's only part of it. part of it is atmosphere. Baltimore's got to clean itself up, but it's the best stadium in all of baseball. Like I have an emotional connection to it, but my kids don't because it's too damn expensive. I'll take them down the road to Bowie, and I'll because when we go to Bowie, we pay about $20 a ticket. It's about $7 more than nosebleeds. We get a suite, and it probably costs me about, I would say, $80 to feed the four of us. Mm-hmm. Now we don't drink alcohol, so we're not, or maybe even if we have, but if we have a beer, I think it's like $8.
Yeah,
it's not 17.
No, not close.
I think 8's the big boy. I think it's 22 ouncer. It's like, yeah, that's reasonable. I get it. You're marking things up. I got no problems with you making a profit. I got problems with you buying a 22 ounce Miller Lite can for probably $1.50 from the distributor, and you're jacking it up to $17.50. Like, well, people got to get paid. Stop with that now. You're selling enough. If you would drop the price, you'd sell more in volume. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, I mean, Bowie's the great example. You know, minor league parks, definitely an option. And, you know, I think the other aspect that's drawing baseball attention away is, you know, there's 80 home games, most in any sport. You know, hockey has 40. NFL has 8. So the 8 home games for football are always going to sell out because it's supply demand.
Yep.
You know, you go to baseball, the supply is way outstretching the demand. You have midweek games, school's still in session for half the season. You get into summertime and people are just doing other things. You know, Friday night baseball, Saturday they've made to a 4 o'clock start to try to give it an option for families to come to. You know, Sunday is the 1:30 game, so again, it's kind of the kids' feel. So they're trying to do things to make that, you know, environment be Friday's the fun night for the partying, Saturday's still kind of the older kid, family friendly, and Sundays to take the younger kids too. But that Monday to Thursday, it's getting off work. You know, you get home at 5:30 if you're lucky. Get the kids all together, drive the 40 minutes, get parked, run into the stadium. Then you're going to be there till 9. You're not getting home till after 10, and if your kids have school the next day or you have work, it's just really hard to convince everyone to go. And then when you talk the prices and, you know, the local fans in Baltimore are more happy to just watch it at home. Mm-hmm. You know, I have a 70-inch TV. Why am I going to pay money to go there and watch it live when I can sit home and watch a better product?
Yeah, and I mean they've also got the safety aspect of downtown. Now it's probably even worse in the Inner Harbor because all the businesses have moved out for the most part. So other elements have kind of taken over the Inner Harbor, which used to be the safe part. You used to be able to walk around there and not get harassed.
Did the Cheesecake Factory leave?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think Hooters is gone. I think all the shops that were in that center. I think almost everything around the convention center is pretty much packed up or saying they're leaving, and that's unfortunate. Even the hotel, I think the 2 hotels down there are done. They pulled out.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. It really is because there's a lot of people I think that would still like to go to downtown Baltimore. I mean, I told this story to Mike a while ago. So my wife and I, we were going to see Hamilton at the Hippodrome. I think this was like 6-7 years ago. Went to Little Italy to get dinner first. As we're driving from Little Italy to the Hippodrome, we're sitting at a red light, and these kids on a bike, one's like doing the pedaling, and the other one's on the back of it. No, I'm sorry, it was on a motor scooter. Driving past a dude on a bike who was sitting at the red light waiting his turn because he's a bike rider, he's obeying the law. They just smacked the shit out of him. Just drove by and smacked the shit out of him. It wasn't like the guy had time to even. It wasn't like there was an altercation or words spoken. He was just sitting there on the bike, didn't even look at the kids, just right over the top of the head. It's like, what the fuck? And this is like Little Italy. That's supposed to be fairly safe.
Yeah.
And I was like, after that, I was like, nope, I'm done coming here. And I think people that still go are probably like a little bit ignorant to what's going on down there, or not, maybe not ignorant. They're just they just don't see it yet, and it's just like I don't even want to walk from the parking lot. Oh, I guess it depends on the parking lot, I guess, but at the parking lot to the stadium, because we usually park at the hotel for the $20, and we used to walk up whatever that street was adjacent to Otterbein. But anyway, I just think they got, if you got that many problems going on, and then you're charging too much for people to be there, that's why you got 15, 20,000 at your place. That's what, but you're killing the next generation of fans. Never mind, like, it's not like you're winning championships. Mm-hmm. Look, as much as I hate the Yankees, this ain't the Yankees. The Yankees have a built-in generational fan base. And Orioles fans just aren't that. Like, they don't believe in the Orioles like Yankees fans love the Yankees. And I don't know what it is, but they don't have that advantage. So I feel like they got to do something. But then again, though, they're probably making money, so they probably don't give a shit.
Well, then to bring it back to the Bananas, where they are selling it out, and it is, baseball's the afterthought when you go there. You're going for the show and the entertainment, and that's what's keeping everyone attention. It's the highlight reels are not somebody hitting a home run. It's some crazy catch. It's some circus act. The guy on 8-foot stilts out there lighting the bat on fire. The dancing umpires. Just anything about it is meant to just give you something to look at for 10 seconds at a time. And it's just look here, look here, look here, look here. No one's looking at their phone. No one's at the stadium scrolling whatever social media. Like, their attention's there because they want to see what the next thing is in front of them. And baseball for MLB has just kind of lost that. You can sit there and kind of like golf on TV. You have it there as kind of a background thing. It's just watch it for a few minutes, go about doing something else, come back, and it's the same thing. And if you watch a Bananas game, it's, every 30 seconds there's something to be like, wow, that was cool.
Yeah, I think you either need to be entertained or you need just an emotionally attached fan base. And the best example I'm going to give it is the World Baseball Classic this year. The same players that play in the MLB, playing for their national teams, and every game was sold out. The ratings for those games were through the roof for baseball.
Yeah.
And the players showed a little bit more emotion. They were into it. Like, every game mattered to them. And that probably goes to what you were saying, 162 games, too long. It's too long. Like, people were... I've never seen so many people talk about baseball than I did when the World Baseball Classic was going on. Like, right now, I know the Orioles are probably like 1 or 2 games under 500, and that's all I can really tell you, other than a lot of underperforming. Yeah. The World Baseball Classic, though, I heard every day. I watched it. I even watched a couple of games. Like, I'm not going to watch an Orioles game until we get to like September, if they're in it. That's why I'm just not going to waste the time.
Well, I mean, you talk about the World Baseball Classic, and you see some of these lineups, and they're better than the All-Star team, and they're multiple of them for the different countries. The South American teams, the Latino teams, the U.S. team, the Japanese team. Something that was really funny is on Team Canada, there was a Bay Sox pitcher, former Bay Sox, was up there, and it's like now facing Shohei Ohtani. And probably the highlight of that guy's career, if he ever makes it, whatever, I got to go pitch against Shohei. And it's just like comical to see, almost the Olympic hockey where there's some guy who's, a school teacher by trade, and then he just shows up and he's lights out and shutting people down.
What was that team? The Italian team.
Yeah.
They had the plumber that was pitching.
Yeah. It's just regular folks, and, we have a lot of the minor leagues, but you then go see them pitching or playing against superstars. And on the opposite side, it's like now, facing one of the best pitchers in the world is your kid's third grade teacher. And they just happen to be the best baseball player from this particular country. Fun stories to watch. Definitely had attention. It was a short 3 or 4 week schedule. Everybody was into it. Coincide with spring training, so that kind of took the hit.
But no one's watching spring training anyway, except for diehards.
They don't.
They got way more traction out of the World Baseball Classic than they ever did for all the teams in spring training.
Yep.
And never mind the fact, it got you psyched up for baseball season. The way that spring training hasn't done for me in probably 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I think the plumber was actually from the Czech Republic. I don't remember. Was he Italian? Was he Italian guy? No, I don't think so, because that would have been way too much. The Mario jokes would have been through the roof.
Yeah, I
think it was from the Czech Republic, which would have been a hell of an ad for the Mario movie. But yeah, I was so ready for the baseball season, and then the Orioles just stuck around 500, and I was like, fuck, it's the Orioles again.
Yep. Injury.
Mike Elias. Look, again, I'm not locking for it. I don't think I can do it better than him. But that dude loves to push money in on dudes that are injured or have an injury history. Tyler O'Neill, of course, he's injured again.
Yep.
Oh, but he's gonna be back quick. Yeah, and then he'll get injured in 2 weeks. Kyle Bradish. I'm sure I think I put the over-under at May 1st. I got another week until he's out.
Well, hey, Eflin made it 4 whole innings.
I mean, that was amazing. And the funny, he gave Eflin a $12 million contract for 1 year. And it was the show me contract, right? But it's man, could you have gotten someone else for $12 million? Probably.
Charlie Morton.
Well, that was the horrible. And then he goes to Toronto, and Charlie Morton and Chris Bassett were never meant to be lights out. They were just made to be innings eaters, which is also what Dean Kramer is. He's an innings eater,
and also injured.
Yeah, but I think his injury is so they can put him on the IL to bring up another pitcher, and then he's miraculously going to be fine.
Yeah,
I don't think Dean's injuries are actually injuries. I think they're oh, we need to put you on the 15-day DL. Say your abs hurt. And he's oh god, I got food poisoning. Yeah. And he's out for and they always do it retroactively.
Oh, of course.
So he's really only out 6 days, and then he comes back and he just happens to pitch that next day.
Yeah, he'll miss 1 or 2 starts, whatever the minimum is.
Yeah, and so I think he's one of the guys that they can do that with. And I think there were some other ones that had options. Baseball. That's another thing. Baseball's so freaking weird with that shit. Nobody can keep up with, why does a player have options? And then controllable players. Why is a player controllable even without a contract through 8 years? It's it's way too complicated. The NFL has got, okay, you get drafted in the first round, you sign a 4-year deal, you got an option for a 5th. Everybody knows that. Baseball, nobody knows shit. It's so then they start talking about it on talk radio, and by the time it's all just, it's like Charlie Brown's teacher. Fuck, okay, just tell me who's on the fucking roster.
Yeah.
So I know who I want to root for crying out loud.
Yeah, you sign the deal, you get them from the draft, you have them for X years, and then you get arbitration, which means you still own their rights, and you just have to go to court to say what you're going to pay them. And options are I can send you up, send you back, bring you back to the team. You're still on the 40-man roster until we DFA you. And then you have guys that don't have any options, so they DFA them, and they go through waivers, and if they're not claimed, then they're still on the Orioles or whatever team DFA'd them. Or they can elect free agency and try to sign somewhere else.
But that's too confusing.
It is complicated.
It's already too confusing. It's too much. I just want... Look, he's either on the team or he isn't. That's it. Or you can send him up, you can send him down. I think the MLB squad and the AAA squad should be interchangeable. When they tell you that they purchased a contract from Norfolk, wasn't he already on the payroll? Weren't the Orioles already paying for his stuff? It's come on, man. Let's stop at least with again, NFL, there's 15 players on the practice squad. and they can come up, but they can't. But they can't play. They can't come up for more than 3 games before you got to put them on the active roster or something like that, or they can't play a certain number of minutes. It gets a little bit more confusing too. That's probably a horrible example, but it's just not as complicated as baseball. And then, of course, like they're trying to get you to watch the MLB draft. It's like, I'm not going to watch a draft when the first round draft pick, we may never see this dude for another 4 years.
And he could be out of high school.
Right. And the NHL is kind of similar. We're going to draft this kid, and he's going to go play either in the AHL, the OHL, or some other junior league somewhere that nobody gives a shit about. May never see him either. At least with the NFL, I know a first-round pick, he's going to be on the field. Mm-hmm. Like, I can go from draft to Sunday, and I know who I'm looking for. These other sports haven't figured that part out yet. And I guess, like, I compare baseball a little bit to the UFC. I used to be a huge UFC fan because, and this isn't a slight on the UFC fighters, but they weren't all that. You had some really skilled guys, and you had some guys that had skill, and then you had guys that were just there. And they fought each other. So when you got a guy who had a ton amount of skill, which was more rare back then, fighting against a middle or bottom tier guy who was still part of the UFC, you got to see someone get their face kicked in. Like, I'm not watching the UFC to watch 2 dudes grapple. Unless there's an arm bar, some kind of choke move, or some kind of ankle breaking thing that I'm going to see. Like, I want to see some violence happen. And, like, a lot of the fights lately, you don't get that. Like, I equate it to, and the reason why I say I equate it to baseball is just because these guys, they've played travel ball since they were 9, or they came from a foreign country where they were in some clinic. What's the word I'm looking for?
Developmental leagues.
Not even that. It's like what are they actually have these facilities down in these countries, and they just work out like 13, 14-year-olds, and they play for like this facility club. And like, so the Orioles will have like this building in the Dominican, and they just train kids. And they do it for free, and then they have to sign with them or some bullshit. So they've been literally training to be pro since they were 9, 10, 12 years old, right? And by the time they get to the majors, they're so good. And then the style of plays becomes so boring. It's like home run or nothing. Well, guess what? Stealing home's pretty exciting. A triple's pretty exciting. A double is pretty exciting. No, we're just going to hit home runs. We're going to walk and we're going to hit home runs. Walk and hit home runs or strike out. That's it. Like, that's not exciting baseball. People don't want to watch that shit. I want to see some shit happen. Like, I'm there to see shit happen. Like, when I watched the UFC, I was there to see someone get knocked the fuck out. Like, with their face exploding. There should be blood and some shit happening. Or I want to see a guy lose consciousness in the ring because someone choked him the fuck out. Like, I'm not watching it to just be like, I'm just fucking bored now. Like, that's one. People think I'm nuts. I would rather not win a Super Bowl in Lamar's career, but have Lamar play like Lamar. Now, I'm not saying I don't want a Super Bowl, but I'm saying when he retires, I'll be happy that we had him, because every Sunday I saw some shit I can't see anywhere else in the NFL. He's gonna pull some shit out of his ass. He's gonna face palm a 200 or 395 pound defensive lineman, push him into the ground, and it's gonna be funny as shit. And then he's gonna throw back across his body, and it's either gonna get picked off or it's gonna be a touchdown. It's like that old it's like that scene from Gladiator. Are you not entertained? Well, look, if we're in the entertainment business, I want to be fucking entertained. I don't want to see 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Just don't. Not my style of football. Now, do I want to see a 275-pound man-child named Derrick Henry run the ball and knock people stupid? Or grab him by the face mask and throw him 5 yards down the field? Yes, I do. That's not boring.
No.
Is it a running game? Yes, it's a running game. Is it boring? No, it's not. In fact, I find it hilarious. So it's like this is sports entertainment. I'm not saying make it the WWE where the outcomes are determined. I'm just saying I want to be fucking entertained.
Yeah. I mean, do you really think they're not predetermined?
I don't think so. Not like the major ones. The WWE is. I mean, everyone knows that.
Yeah,
Everyone knows that's fake as shit. I went to one of those, by the way. If you're a WWE fan, don't go. Don't go, because you're going to see how fake it is. You see how far they miss with the punches and shit. It's bad. The cameramen are amazing, making you think that shit's real. If you thought that shit was real. But no, the other one I would never go to, again, is an NFL game. Now, I love watching the NFL on Sundays. But you don't realize how boring it is with the commercial breaks and shit. Like, they don't do shit in the stadium. Like, they go to commercial break and everyone's just standing around. People just sitting. That's when they look at they're looking at their phones too. And, like, back in the day, like, of course you had the cheerleaders and the gun and like the t-shirt can't. Now they don't do any of that shit. I think half the teams don't even have cheerleaders anymore. Never mind that. If you're on the upper deck, you can't see them anyway.
Yeah.
So you got to hope they put something on the jumbotron for you to watch. Otherwise, you're looking at your phone.
Well, you're complaining about baseball ticket prices. Even
football's ridiculous.
Nosebleed football's a couple $100.
Well, and on top of you got to pay that personal seat license. You got to pay that PSL money too. Mm-hmm. Then you got to pay for you're paying for the right to pay for the ticket. That's the most banana shit I've ever heard in my life. You have to pay to have the right to pay for tickets to events that seat gives you access to. What the fuck kind of shit is that? You're selling the seat twice?
And you can sell that PSL.
Yeah. Well, so it's like they call it an asset.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that shit. This isn't the back in the day when the Redskins had like the 5-year wait list. There ain't no. I don't think there's a wait list anymore for any of this shit.
No. Green Bay is the only one, I think.
I would love to see a game in Green Bay. Because I would be looking at everything but the game. Again, I would want to go in the winter, and you know how I hate cold. I'm not a fan of the cold. I mean, I do like the cold, but not like being out in the cold. You know what I mean? Like I would bundle up and go to a Green Bay game if I ever decided to actually fly to Green Bay, which I probably won't. But I think that would just be fascinating to me. But again, though, that's more like from my childhood. Like when I saw the Green Bay Packers in the winter playing a football game with the snow. And then you see, like, I think it was, what was, Hard Knocks. That was it. So Hard Knocks did the Green Bay Packers training camp. And they showed, like, how close the players were to the stadium. They were riding little kids' bikes. It was just a real relatable thing. I'm surprised more NFL teams don't kind of take a page out of that book a little bit. But at the same time, they're not hurting for fans and money. Yep. So why do it, right? So I don't know. But we hit on a lot of stuff in this episode. So I don't know. What do you are you optimistic about the Ravens this year?
I think we can make playoffs, yes. Past the first round, yes. Getting the monkey off the back of making it any further, getting to the AFC Championship, I'd be shocked. You know, things can happen, but I just don't see a path to it until we understand what the new coaching style is going to be.
I think that's the big thing. It's uncertain, right? And I think I also need to wait and see. I need to see what free agent signings happen. The Orioles, to be honest with you, I like Craig Albertaz. I like the new manager. I like his candor. I wasn't a fan of Hyde. Plus, his voice just grated on me.
I mean, nothing like having a Boston guy be the Baltimore's coach.
I dig that Boston accent, though. To me, it just sounds like an authentic guy. Sounds like an old school Cape Cod League baseball guy. He wouldn't lie to me, you know. Yeah. That guy doesn't lie to you. But yeah, I don't know what to think about this. I'm also not the sky's fall. I'm not the sky's falling person this early in the season. I do think if they go on like a prolonged losing streak, like they did last year, and get themselves stuck behind the 8 ball halfway through the season, I think they're fucked.
Yeah, well, this time last year they were already having that slide, and the injuries last year carried into this year, but we're still at 500. And in baseball, they say, everyone's going to win 50, lose 50. It's what you do with the other 62 that matter. We still have the trade deadline. We still got some chips in the prospect cupboard to see what we can do with. Some of these young guys are starting to show some, real abilities, and Gunner's on a tear, looking like he could get 35, 40 home runs. Right now they're saying he's on pace for like 52. We signed Pete Alonso for a monster contract, and, I think we all were happy to see him finally get his first home run so they would stop talking about it. Every time he swung the bat, it's like, this could be the home run, and he finally got it.
Here's the thing, though. Gunnar Henderson, even with all that, he's batting 200.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You can't be hitting 200 and being the elite MVP chase. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when we were kids, batting average meant something. Tony Gwynn was batting 320s. Pujols hit home runs. He was playing the game that they want to play now, but he was hitting 330, hitting 40 home runs a year, and batting in 121. I mean, this, to me, like, our definition of what's good is a far cry from what was good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it.
200 is not a batting average that should be celebrated.
It's awful.
300 is great, even though it's only one, out of 10, it's 2 out of 10 or 3 out of 10. But, it's more that putting the ball in play, getting contact, getting on base versus home run or bust. I'm going to strike out, I'm going to fly out, or I'm going to put it over the fence. So it goes back to that. And Baltimore was always kind of small ball. Let's get the runs, let's figure it out, and then win with a long ball late. Seems we're just now forgetting the small ball side and just saying home run or bust. And, Saturday night against the Red Sox, or Friday night, hit so many home runs they ran out of fireworks. And then we scored 3 runs the next 2 games.
So just as an example, I'm going to compare Adley Rutschman and Taylor Ward to Gunnar Henderson, the supposed MVP candidate. Henderson has 115 at-bats. And this is going to be relevant. Taylor Ward, 106. So I'm going to say they're about even. Rutschman, 47 at-bats. Now, Rutschman has 16 hits. Gunnar, 23. So he's got half the at-bats, more than half the runs. Or more than half the hits. Ward, 34 hits. Ward has 11 more hits than Gunnar in less at-bats. Although it says same plate appearances. My bad. But Ward has 13 doubles. Rutschman has 6. Gunnar has 4. Home runs, Gunnar has 8. Ward has 1. Rutschman has 3. So not as home runny. But RBIs, Gunnar has 16. He's half of his own RBIs. He's only got 8 other RBIs.
Yep.
Ward, who has 1 home run, has 11 RBIs. So he's got 10. So he's knocked in more other people than Gunnar has. Rutschman, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs. And again, that's with under half of the at-bats, or plate appearances. Now, don't get me wrong. I thought Rutschman needed to stop catching. Either play first base or BDH. Because this kid was a hitter out of Oregon State. And I think learning the pro game as a catcher hurt his hitting ability. But now that Sam is doing some catching, I think it's allowing Adley to focus a lot on his hitting. Mm-hmm. But Adley was not a huge power hitter in college. His batting average right now is 340. Now, don't get me wrong, not a huge sample size. It can always go down. But this was the hitter he was. And I feel like the Orioles were like pushing him to be a hitter he wasn't. They're trying to push all of the hitters to be just the home run hitter. Like, stop that shit. Let them be the hitter they are. If they're doubles hitters, let them be doubles hitters. His on-base percentage is .404. Gunnar's is .273. Ward's is 430 because they get on base. Like, to me, this is wild. In fact, it goes back to, you remember the movie Moneyball?
Of course.
What was the thing that Brad Pitt would always snap his fingers and point to Jonah Hill about?
Gets on base.
Gets on base. What does he do? He gets on base. And all the old scouts were fucking through the roof about this shit. That's what got runs. And so, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like the Orioles need to stop wedging these dudes into a fucking mold and let them play baseball. And I personally, I think that would help with getting fans back and just getting people interested again. Like, that's just my own thing on that. But, I don't know. Let us know what you think in the comments. Want to thank Adam Chubbuck, TACMD.com. That's TACMD.com with Douglas Realty in Pasadena, Maryland. We want to thank him for sponsoring the show as always. We didn't even talk about the golf trip. So maybe we'll save that for another day. Or maybe we won't. We'll see if Adam even wants his name mentioned in that one. But want to thank him for sponsoring the show, and we'll see you guys next week.